I'm now reading about storm leaves hundreds of thousands in a storm. Storm leaves hundreds of thousands in the dark. Dave Inhan and his wife are bunking with friends after losing power in a snow and ice storm that caused more than 1 million U.S. outages. The vast majority of them in a single state, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. The storm has long since cleared out, but its effects are expected to linger for days as utility crews work feverishly to restore power to hundreds of thousands of Pennsylvania residents left in the dark and cold. One official likened the damage to what you'd expect to see from a hurricane. People are going to have some patience at this point. Pennsylvania Governor Tom Corbett said Wednesday, warning that an overnight refreeze could cause more problems on the road Thursday. Corbett late Wednesday issued a disaster emergency proclamation, freeing up state agencies to use all available resources and personnel. The Northeast's second winter storm of the week dumped more than a foot of snow in some states, forcing schools, businesses, and government offices to close, snarling air travel, and sending cars and trucks sliding on slippery roads and highways. An all too familiar litany of misery in a winter where the storms seem to be tripping over each other. What made this one stand out and caused all these outages was the thick coating of ice it left on trees and power lines. The damage that we are seeing in the field with the number of trees down, not only on lines but blocking roads and more, presents a number of logistical issues, said Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission spokeswoman Jennifer Kocher. This damage is very similar to what we see during hurricanes. At its height, the storm knocked out power to nearly 849,000 customers in Pennsylvania, most of them in the counties around Philadelphia. Though sizable, it's still less than the nearly 1.8 million that were left without power after Superstorm Sandy in 2012. PECO, Southeastern Pennsylvania's dominant utility, warned it could be until the weekend before the lights come back on for all of its 500,000 customers without power. In Navarin, Maryland, where 112,000 customers were in the dark, power companies have an estimate of Friday. Tens of thousands of New Jersey residents also lacked electricity, while some homeowners fired up generators. Others, like the Dions, are relying on the generosity of others to power them through. They plan to stay with their friends overnight Thursday, and possibly longer. If we wear out our welcome, we'll get a hotel, said Inhan. whose home in the Philadelphia suburbs went dark at 6 a.m. Wednesday in Wyncote, a town just north of Philadelphia. Took to Facebook to ask for a kerosene heater and recommendations on where to buy the fuel. And it worked. Someone from a church who has power has a kerosene heater, and my husband is picking it up now, she said Wednesday night. And her husband then planned to pay it forward, inviting their neighbors to spend the night. Our neighbors don't have heat either, she said, or heater. Thousands of utility workers descended on the Philadelphia suburbs to get the lights back on. PECO said early Thursday that about 440,000 customers were still without power and that the sheer scope of the work made the going slow. It was the second worst storm in PECO's history, eclipsed only by Hurricane Sandy in 2012, with the utility reporting 623,000 outages at one point Wednesday. We know that this is going to take multiple days, PECO spokeswoman Kathy said. About 3,500 employees and contractors were working to restore power, while another 1,000 linemen for utilities as far as Chicago were expected to join the company's efforts, she said. Several hospitals were running out backup generators. Most decided to cancel elective surgeries and outpatient testing. Dr. John Kelly, chief of staff at Memorial Hospital outside Philadelphia, one of the affected facilities, said critical staff needed for any emergencies would be staying overnight. He said the hospital had plenty of fuel and food. The American Red Cross opened 3 shelters in southeastern Pennsylvania and stood ready to open more. We've been told to be prepared for 4 to 6 days. We are gathering staff and volunteers for up to a week, said Red Cross spokesman Dave Schneider. I'm now reading about China media slams Philippine leader comments on disputed waters. Chinese state media has slammed Philippine president over remarks that compared Beijing's claims in the disputed South China Sea to demands for land made by Nazi Germany to the former Czechia. In an interview with the New York Times published on Tuesday, Aquino called for more global support for the Philippines over the territorial issue, comparing it to the failure by the West to support Czechoslovakia against Adolf Hitler's demand in 1938. If we say yes to something we believe is wrong now, what guarantee is there that the wrong will not be further exacerbated down the line? The paper quoted him as saying, "At what point do you say enough is enough? Well, The world has to say it. Remember that the land was given in an attempt to appease Hitler to prevent World War II. China's official Xinhua news agency blasted Aquino's comments late on Wednesday, saying Beijing's claims in the South China Sea have a sound historical foundation, and that it also seeks to resolve the issue through dialogue rather than confrontation. His latest reported attack against China, in which he senselessly compared his northern neighbor to the Nazi Germany, exposed his true color as an amateurish politician who was ignorant both of history and reality, it said in an English-language commentary. He also joined the ranks of disgraced Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who created great controversy after comparing Japan to China relations to those between the United Kingdom and Germany in the run-up to the First World War. Was last month at the annual World Economic Forum in Switzerland. Xinhua said, such commentaries, while not official statements, can be read as a reflection of Chinese government thinking. China's foreign ministry has yet to comment on Aquino's remarks. On Thursday, a spokesman for Aquino stood by the comments. The lesson for all free countries is this. There is a need for all to stand up for what is right, spokesman Junior said. It should be right. It's might and not might is right. China, the Philippines, Vietnam, Taiwan, Malaysia, and all have territorial claims across a waterway that provides 10% of the global fisheries catch and carries $5 trillion in ship-borne trade. U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for East Asian and Pacific Affairs Danny Russell said on Wednesday, Washington has growing concerns that China's maritime claims in the disputed sea are an effort to gain creeping control of oceans in the Asia-Pacific region. China reacted angrily last week to a report in a Japanese newspaper that Beijing was considering setting up a new air defense identification zone in the South China Sea, similar to the one it announced last year for the East China Sea. The United States urged China not to set up such a zone, although China's foreign ministry implied it had no need to do so because it did not see a military threat from Southeast Asia. Xinhua, in a separate commentary, said it was Japan that was a real regional threat, not China. It is high time for the Obama administration to see through Abe's political tricks and to catch the trigger-happy element in Japan. Xinhua said. I'm now reading about Beckham to build global club in Miami. David Beckham plans to bring football back to Miami, hoping his personal fame and fortune will help him build a new Major League Soccer team of truly global stature. The former England and Manchester United star said Wednesday he already has major players calling him seeking to join a U.S. team that they may one day rival the European giant where he became a superstar. I wanted to create a team where we can start from scratch. Beckham told an outdoor press conference at the downtown Miami Art Museum, explaining his decision to bring the expanding league 2012 22nd Soccer Club to South Florida. 22nd Soccer Club to South Florida. I know there was a team here 10 years ago that unfortunately folded. But I know that Miami is ready for football again. Say. I wanted to create a team that would be very personal to me. That would be very personal to me. Personal to me. That would be very personal to me. That would be very personal to me. We're planning to bring a team that will be global team. That will be a global team. The 38-year-old said, urging that the past decade American soccer had made huge progress as both a sport and a business. The former midfielder, who wore a slim-fitting gray suit and a tie despite the 82-degree weather, said one of his partners would be British pop music and television imperial Fuller, who managed Beckham's wife Victoria when she sang with the Spice Girls. She sang with the Spice Girls. Beckham, who reportedly paid a cut price $25 million for the franchise, said his wife and family would join him to Miami. He did not disclose when the team would be ready for action, but reporters suggest it will be in 2016 or 17. We want to create a football club that is people's football club, he told the front of media as a helicopter buzzed overhead and a small plane whizzed past dragging a banner and read, Beckham, don't trust, referring to local mayor, The former United and Real Madrid star said he had high hopes for the MLS, where he featured for LA Galaxy before retiring last year following a stint with Paris Saint-Germain. I've seen a change over the last 10 years. I've seen a change in this league, the interest in this league, he said, as fans chanted, one David Beckham. There's only one David Beckham. Only one David Beckham. We want to bring some of the best football players in the world, great players, to this team. Players are already interested in coming to Miami. We are very excited about this project. Miami is a vibrant city and a city with a lot of passion. I know this city is ready for football, for soccer. I'm going to work hard to make this team very successful. It's an exciting time, he added. This is a dream. I've lived the dream. Asked if his manager at United, Alex had been in contact over a coaching role. Beckham said, funnily enough, no. He didn't call me or text me. The pair famously fell out and shipped Beckham out to Real Madrid, although relations have warmed since. Beckham appeared alongside MLS Commissioner Don Garber, who said Beckham and league would work with Miami-Dade County to build a world-class downtown stadium for the new club. Beckham thanked Garber and Mayor and said he would not seek public funding for the team's stadium, a comment which elicited cheers, having raised money from private partners. The new club, which does not yet have a name, is looking to build a stadium for 25,000 spectators, with reports suggesting Beckham is eager for an eye-catching location close to the water. Miami has been without the football team since the Miami Fusion folded more than a decade ago. But Beckham, whose popularity and fame endures despite retirement from the game, will be hoping his star pulling power can be the difference. I'm now reading about White House Obamacare playbook for the vulnerable Democrats in 2014. It's mid-October 2014. On TV, a woman from your state looks directly at the camera as she tells the story of how Obamacare helped her get health insurance just before a devastating accident, or helped her kids with a chronic but common illness like asthma. She thanks her Democratic senator for voting for the Affordable Care Act. She doesn't mention President Obama's name. She doesn't mention President Obama by name. He's not popular here. In closing, she takes Republicans to task for their repeated efforts to repeal the law. That could be the script for political aids by vulnerable Democrats like Sam Mary of the or Mark of this year, if they take a page from the White House playbook for fighting back on Obamacare. Everyone knows that the GOP plans to hang the unpopular law around the necks of Democrats, especially senators from red states elected in 2008. When Obama himself swept into office, they'll be trying them to cancel policies and future employers who blame Obamacare for rising premiums, and they'll stoke the anger of voters who see the requirement that Americans have health insurances as an unacceptable government infringement on their rights. How the president and his party will hit back is more of an open question, though it's not exactly a secret plan. After all, Obama laid out the basic principles in his State of the Union address. Probably the biggest national audience he will get all ear for a formal speech. Obama invoked Amanda Shelley, a single mom from he described as her had been signed up for health insurance thanks to the law, and in the nick of time, just days before she needed emergency surgery. That's what health insurance reform is all about. The peace of mind that if misfortune strikes, you don't have to lose everything, he said. Obama went on to detail the individual benefits that are more popular than the laws as whole, requiring insurance companies to cover Americans with pre-existing conditions. For instance, he held out an olive branch to Republicans, saying he will work with the GOP if you have specific plans to cut costs, cover more people, increase choice, and then he beat them with that olive branch. Let's not have another 40-something vote, 40-something votes to repeal a law that's already helping millions of Americans like Amanda. The first 40 were plenty. Democratic Party insiders emphasized that the White House isn't dictating a strategy to senators who, after all, got elected in states where Obama has never been overwhelmingly popular and which in some cases he has never won. Senator Mark knows voters better than the National Party ever will, the argument goes. But the Obama aides have watched as Republicans have launched on the Democrats with the gripping personal stories of Americans who have lost existing coverage, or have to change doctors, or face higher premiums. We are so losing the anecdote war. One aide to a Democratic senator facing voters in November recently told Yahoo News. The administration playbook suggests aides featuring women detailing how Obamacare helped them obtain insurance just before they face a serious threat to their health. Underlying benefits like contraceptive coverage, or explaining how the law covered their children for serious but common ailments. The president will keep making the argument that he's prepared to work with Republicans to fix the law, a nod to sure, bipartisanship, sure, but also an effort to get voters to ask for details of the GOP plan. The Democrats' goal will be turn the election from a referendum on the struggling president and Obamacare into a choice between his party's policies and those of Republicans. One thing Obama probably won't do: appear at campaign events alongside Democrats facing tough re-election fights. Instead, Democrats say he'll focus heavily on fundraising for the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee and Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, and he may campaign without the struggling local candidate in heavily Democratic areas of battleground states, or do interviews with specialized or local media that reach Democratic voters. One Obama ally predicted that Democrats in toss-up races would seek campaign appearances by First Lady Michelle Obama, who is vastly more popular than her husband, or former President Bill Clinton, who retained considerable appeal among white working-class voters that the president has struggled to reach. At the same time, the White House expects some Democrats to make a very public show of disagreeing with the president's agenda. On guns, for instance, or trade,